So I would love to tell you that today I am going to share with you the magical pricing formula that everybody is looking for. You know, that amazing one-size-fits-all simple pricing equation that's going to be the answer to everything. I'd love to tell you that that's what I'm going to share, but I'm not going to share that because the simple truth is that does not exist. I talk to so many people who think that they must be missing something when it comes to pricing. They are convinced that there is a magic formula that everybody else knows except them, and that if they just had that formula, they would finally know exactly how to price their services or their products. But the truth is, there really is no simple formula, and there are a number of things that go into how to fix or dictate your price. So I'm going to share with you today the key things that you should factor into your price, but I also want to reassure you that you are not missing out on this magic formula that everybody else knows, because nobody knows it. So what should you be thinking about when it comes to setting your price? Now, there's always the interesting dilemma about how closely should your price link to or reflect your competition? Does it have to be in line with what everybody else is charging? Now, I would always say that it is well worth being in touch with what your competition charges. And obviously we get into the heated debate there about what is competition, but we're not on that one today. So I would always encourage you to have at least a ballpark figure of what other people similar to you are charging. But the only reason you want to know that is to make sure that you are not massively at odds with what everybody else is offering. If you are massively cheaper or massively more expensive, that's likely to create difficulties for you. Although you're better off being too expensive than too cheap. So yes, find out what other people are charging, but only to make sure you're not a million miles away, not to copy and not to definitely kind of go, they charge that, I must charge this. It does not have to be that tightly related. The second thing, and more important than what your competition charges, is your own overheads. And it might seem surprising to say that a lot of people forget about this when they factor in their price. But you really need to be very clear on how much it costs to run your business, how much it costs to deliver your services. You want to be aware of things like your capacity for clients. So actually, how many times do you want to, or do you have the capacity to be delivering your service or selling your products? Because that will likely put a ceiling on how much work you can do, and you have to reflect that in making sure then that you're charging the right price. Otherwise, you just won't earn enough. So make sure you're clear on your overheads and your capacity. Excuse me. Factor in all of your training and your experience. And this is so often where people miss things, because they look at somebody down the road who has only just started doing this. They're charging absolutely peanuts. And yet so many people think, well, if they charge peanuts, I can only charge monkey nuts. I can't charge loads more because they're charging that. But they're not delivering what you're delivering. They don't have the skills. They don't have the same years of experience. They don't have the credibilities. They don't have the testimonials. So make sure you're absolutely factoring in your experience, your credentials, your qualifications, all the evidence that you've got of working with clients and having honed your skills, because that's hugely valuable. And in some ways, you could almost look at it as saying, every time you achieve a new qualification or undertake some significant training, that actually should reflect in your price. So that's number 3, training and experience. Number 4 is thinking about what you remove for your customers. Might sound a bit quirky, but what do you remove in the sense of, do you help a client to eliminate risk from their business? Do you remove uncertainty? And that uncertainty might be the uncertainty about whether they're doing something right, the uncertainty about whether their strategy is actually taking them to the right place. It might be uncertainty about where their leads are coming from or what their cash flow is going to look like. So there's loads of things that you might be removing. You may well be removing complexity, because the things that you find incredibly simple, your customer might actually find hugely complex. And we all love somebody who comes and helps us make life simple. And then, of course, the fifth thing to factor in is your impact. And really, this is the most important thing when it comes to where you position your price. The impact you have, the difference you make, the value that you deliver to your clients. And the value, remember, is never about how easy you find something or how long it takes you. It's all about the impact that it delivers for your clients. So really get clear on that impact, and that will give you the right insight to the magic equation that you need for pricing your services correctly. If pricing is a massive headache for you, if you know secretly that you are probably undercharging, but you can't quite work out how to get to the right level, this is exactly the stuff I like to help with. So get in touch with me at tailory.co.uk and I would love to help.